Hi folks, Richard Millman here for the Millman Experience, and it's a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Georgia in the United States. I thought this afternoon I would talk to you a little bit about the commodity of squash, time, and your personal view of time, something that I refer to as your temporal gaze. And we're going to do that in my office. My office is at the bottom of my garden. You can see that my house is up there, and Pat's just taken Tammy out for a walk, our dog, and the office is down here. We're about to walk into the office right now. So it's actually tidier than it is usually, so I apologize for the scruffiness, but this is where I try and work, especially during this horrible time of coronavirus. Anyway, so we're going to do a little bit of work over here, and I'm just going to put you guys on a stand, and let's see how we can go from here. Okay, so as I said to you, we're going to talk about temporal gaze. And temporal gaze is where you're looking in time. So if I draw a line along here with my marker, and at this end of it, I put a nice big arrow, and I put underneath that arrow, future, in my best handwriting, which isn't very good. And right at the beginning, I put the word past. Right in the middle here, I'm going to draw a little picture. It's got two dots on it, and you know what that is. That's the ball, and that's the present. Okay, so your temporal gaze, and this is you down here, you're not that attractive, I'm sorry about that. Where you're looking in time determines how far ahead of the game or behind the game you might be. So beginners tend to be looking back here because they're trying to catch up with the ball. They don't really know what the ball's doing, so they tend to be looking back there. So beginners and the less experienced players are all back here. So I'm going to put beginners, BG, all right? Now, reasonably experienced C and D club level players, they're somewhere around here, okay? The better you get, the more your mind is operating up here, okay? One of the best I've ever seen was John White, and he was able, from the speed, trajectory, direction of the ball, to precisely see into the future where the ball was going to be. So, up here somewhere, John White. So, however far ahead of where the ball is, and that's where the game lives in the present, you can read that much time is how far you are ahead of the game and how much time you have to organize and plan, okay? Well, if you consider that it's important to learn to stay ahead of the game, your temporal gaze needs to help you to read the game. And you've got to learn how to use your racket prep to help you visualize what the ball is going to do before it does it. Now, there was a wonderful Canadian, I beg his pardon, ice hockey player, Wayne Gretzky. And he told us something very interesting about sport, about hockey, but about sport in general. He said, don't go to where the puck is, go to where the puck is going to be. And so he taught us to see into the future. Now, the second part of this video today is going to be a demonstration of continuous flowing ghosting. And one of the big issues that I see with a lot of people is that when they're ghosting, they're going to the ball, as if the ball was the end point of their activity. But of course, the ball is continuously moving, and in order for you to stay ahead of the game and not get overtaken by the ball and get stuck here in the past, you have to be considering your actions before you get to the ball and thinking about the consequences of your shot so that you can already be on your way to the next situation up here in the future before you strike the ball. If you come to a stop here, all right, so if you come to a stop up here somewhere, stop, okay, that's no good because the ball isn't going to stop. The game's continuous. The ball's going to keep moving on. So you can never stop. You have to incorporate into your activity, into your ghosting, into your squash play, the expectation that you have to be on your way to the next situation, and you must never ever stop to see whether or not the shot you've played or the activity you've engaged in has taken effect. Because as soon as you stop, the ball leaves you behind and you find yourself here in the ignominious past. So, when you see the ghosting that I'm going to demonstrate to you in a minute, what you're going to see is that I am loading my legs before I ever get to the ball in anticipation of moving off the ball, and so I start moving off the shot before I hit the shot. Now, people say, well, how can you do that? You know, how can you transfer your weight into a squash ball if you're actually moving away from it? Well, the key is the same as a slingshot. If you took a wet towel and you, as you moved away, you flicked it towards your buddy's leg, it would hurt as long as you were leaning towards your buddy, even though you're moving away. And the whole business of slingshot mechanics is what squash is about, being able to finely tune and time the moment that you leave just as you are releasing the shot so that your weight and power transfers into the ball even though you're moving away, you're still leaning towards, and that's what generates the power that goes into the ball even though you're on the way to the future, to the next situation in the game. Okay, so I hope this little presentation has given you an understanding. The ball is always where the game lives, okay? This is where the game is. Inexperienced players or players that haven't learned how to think about the future, they get stuck chasing the ball. The worst thing you can do is run after the ball, because if you start running after that ball, where are you going to be? In the past. And you'll never quite catch up to the present. You might get to the ball, send it on its way into the future, and leave yourself here if you stop, okay? You've got to continuously move into the future with the ball, which means you have to organize the physicality of movement into the future before you strike the ball, and you can't afford to hit the ball faster than your own ability to get into position for the next shot. Otherwise, again, you're going to leave yourself back here, okay? So temporal gaze, that's what we've been talking about. And that means, where in time are you looking? Are you organizing yourself? Are you planning for the future? Is the ball the limit of how far into the future you look? Because if it is, look where you're going to end up very quickly. Whereas if you're moving to where the ball is going to be, and as you play it, you're already moving again into position to be ready for the next stage, you'll be like John White, always reading into the future. All right, there we go. Okay, folks, so what you're seeing here is a series of continuity ghosting drills. And this one, I'm imagining that I'm on a squash court and I'm hitting a cross court and then I'm hitting a boast, and I'm doing a solo drill here, keeping the game going. Now hopefully you can see that I have never stopped moving, and as I'm approaching each shot I'm trying to prep the racket to visualize where the ball's going to be, and also loading for my movement off the shot, and as I'm hitting the shot I'm already on my way to the next situation. So in the next one, this is a practice where I'm imagining that I was getting very high, easy feeds, and I'm just practicing choreographing of a continuous drill where I'm not stopping. I've got lots of time. Racket prep is telling my feet where to go, and I'm transitioning. So on this next one, you can see again, it's a forehand situation, but this time I'm practicing as if I didn't have so much time. So I haven't got the time to wait for a ball to loop off the front wall, and I'm varying the places that I'm going and keeping that continuous movement going again. Racket prep and changing direction, no stops. And I'm loading those legs ready to push off as I hit that ball. And I'm making sure I'm on the way as I strike the ball and using my legs to generate the momentum for both the shot and the movement, or actually I should say it the other way around, the movement and the shot. Okay, here I'm doing a backhand choreography drill, but this time I'm working as if I was under more pressure. And so you can see as I'm demonstrating here that there's a little less time to do the full body turn, and that the racket prep still is telling my feet where to go, and I'm still moving off each shot, but I'm just making sure that I'm getting into position for that 90-degree angle to where I want the ball to go each time, but I'm just giving myself enough time to play the shot. So if you watch the footwork carefully, once I know where the ball is, I'm setting up the shot, but as I'm coming back, that right foot is staying to the right side of the court, as if I was going to have to defend the other side of the court. So yeah, I'm hunting the ball there. Okay folks, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation from the Millman experience of temporal gaze and practical application of managing time in a ghosting situation. Thanks folks, bye.